Hey YouTube, what's up? It's Pensive Fox and these are my thoughts. So I know I've been gone for a while, but there is a good reason. I started a new job at a law firm and then this past week I got sick for a few days. So I'm just giving you guys a quick update because I don't have a lot of time actually. There's a lot going on this week and my life has gotten very, very busy. But I wanted to make this short video to update you guys on some stuff and also talk about something that I think is extremely important and something that has been happening and is going to happen tomorrow. The end of a campaign! So yes, this is another tabletop video, and I actually am planning on making a lot more in the future because I really enjoy talking about tabletop. It's something that's become very prominent in my life. It's something that as a writer I can use it as a creative outlet, but it's also a really fun activity that me and my friends do almost every single week. So the end of a campaign, if you guys remember in the video I made before called Beginner's Guide to Vampire the Masquerade, I told you all that we had been playing the same game of Vampire for 3 years. And tomorrow, which I'm filming this on Friday, hopefully I can edit this and get this up tonight, but we'll see. Tomorrow is the end of it all. Everything we've worked up to, every enemy we've defeated, everything, it all ends tomorrow. And it is the most exciting feeling you can have as a player, as a dungeon master, or a storyteller, because everyone in the game has put so much work into the characters, the setting, and into the story. It ending is almost unfathomable. You want to live in that reality forever because you put so much work into it. It's this cool and amazing world separate from your own real life that you've gotten to enjoy for hours at a time with your friends every other week or every single week, depending on your schedule, for however long you've been playing. And for us, it's been something we've enjoyed almost every week, inconsistently on and off, for about the past 3 years. That's a lot of time. If we added up all the hours we put into this story and this game, I can promise you there would be people going, "You spend that much time on a hobby?" And yes, we do, because it's fun. So why is this so important? Well, it's really important to me because this is the first time we've ever actually officially wrapped up a campaign at a natural ending. So what I mean by that is, generally, and everyone out there who's a regular tabletop player can probably relate to this, you'll be playing a game of D&D or Vampire and everything will be going good for a few weeks until someone decides to drop out of the party, someone decides to drop out of the group, whether work life gets busy, school life gets busy, or they just get tired of playing and they don't want to play anymore. And then you don't have enough people to play the game, or you all decide that because that character is no longer involved in the story and they were an integral part of the story, that it's not worth it. Let's just start a completely new story, a completely new game. And so you just move on and start a new game, draw up some new character sheets, and roll the dice. That's not a natural ending. A natural ending is completing arcs of the story until you finally get up to what you've been hearing about since the first game, that enemy or that plot line or whatever it is, whatever goal, whatever overarching goal your characters have been working towards this whole time, it's finally within reach. And whether you get it or not depends on how you roll the dice. And that's what's happening tomorrow. For the first time in my 4 years of playing tabletop, I am going to have a character that will meet a natural end. And that's not to say that she's dying, it's just to say that her story has completed. She's done all these adventures, she's reached this final goal, and it's done now. We're going to finish the story and we're going to epilogue what happens to our characters afterwards. It's such a beautiful thing to me because it's not just, okay, well, that story's scrapped and you just throw it in the bin, or you're like, well, maybe if we get another player, we'll go back to that story, but for right now, let's just move on and play a different campaign. It's this, we've all stuck it out and gone through this process together, and now all of these characters from the very beginning, are completing these things that they said they would. Storylines are being tied up in little bows, and questions we've had since day one are being answered. It's satisfying and it's validating. Validation. That's not a word you think you'd hear, but I used it on purpose and for a good reason. As a storyteller or a dungeon master or a game runner, you need to make sure that your players' choices matter and that they have an impact on the story. Otherwise, the game is going to get boring, and that's where you get a lot of people who drop out because it's not fun, because they don't think their characters are having a real impact on the story. They don't think their characters can change anything. As a storyteller myself, I can admit that when I'm writing up the monsters or writing up the main plot of something, my mind starts racing. How is this going to end? What is the coolest way this fight could end? Oh, if this character uses this and this character uses this. But the reality of the situation is the players aren't going to do what you think of in your head. And chances are they're probably going to do something way cooler and something that makes sense for them. That's the point of Tabletop. It's this combined storytelling. It's a group effort. And if you don't let your players' characters impact the world and the story, then what was the point? So when I say validation, I'm talking about seeing the choices my character and other players' characters made along the way in this journey and having the impact of it revealed to me. And that is validating, knowing that my character, that Elizabeth Rowe, changed New Orleans forever. That because she did X, Y happened, and then Z couldn't happen. Because she was able to take down enemy after enemy. She was able to go through several trials and tribulations and make it through each time. It is wildly satisfying as a player to know that your character did something amazing and did something that changed the outcome of the story. If there's anything you take away from the video today, take away that. Implement that in your games if you haven't already. Make sure that the choices your players make have impact, have meaning, and they change the story. Don't try and mitigate their choice by some DM ruling. Let them do what they're going to do and then adapt. Change the story to fit how their characters impact the world, because that is the point of Tabletop in the first place. There are so many emotions running through my head right now. There is sadness because I am going to be, archiving this character. That's not to say that you guys won't see her at any point, hinting at my hopefully coming soon video series on Elizabeth Rowe and the New Orleans Vampire by Night that we have ran over the past 3 years. But also satisfaction and happiness. There's this completeness, like everything came together, and it didn't come together how I thought it would. This story has ended in such a way, it's going to end in such a way, that I could never have predicted. If you had told me when I first created this character that, oh yeah, that's gonna happen, I never would have believed you, and honestly, I might not have played her. Because when I first created her, I had this vision of who she would be, but even players need to allow the storyteller to have an impact on your character. Because if your character is going through trials and tribulations and through this whole overarching journey to this one goal, things are going to change. They're going to have revelations, and their goals might even change. Their beliefs might change. Their morals might change. And you as a player need to allow the storyteller to have an impact on your character, just like storytellers need to allow players to have an impact on the story. And that to me is such a beautiful process of push and pull that's been going on for the past 3 years and has now finally completed and ended, and you have this whole very deep layered character and this layered and beautiful story that is just so fulfilling, so undescribably fulfilling. So I hope all of that made sense. I know this is a fairly shorter video than what I normally make, but I feel like I've made my point. I promise you guys that Vampire by Night, New Orleans, Elizabeth Row campaign sort of diary that I'm gonna do will be coming soon. And I'm so excited for that. Unbelievably excited, but I didn't want to start it until we had finally finished an epilogue to the campaign. So this is goodbye until I can get that video put together and have it uploaded for you guys. I appreciate you all watching. If you have any comments or suggestions or any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. That helps YouTube's algorithm and helps people find the video. And if you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button because that's how you're going to get notified that I've uploaded more videos.